fun little people on the internet that have decided to take a I mean like an episode length worth of time out of their day to listen to my weird little voice talk and do something random. to, well, talk about movies in particular. We love movies here. Anyway, today we are doing the Sabrina comparison video I've been talking about that I didn't get to, that I talked about like 2 months ago because I kept getting sick. Like I got bronchitis, strep, sinus infection on top of a cold. It's been a couple months, but we are back. But yeah, also, we're hoping sometime in May we will be having a very special project coming out that me and a couple groups of friends are doing, so be on the lookout for that in May, which is super duper exciting. And I've already mentioned that in today's video we are talking about the comparison of Sabrina 1954 and Sabrina 1995. While I do makeup, now, just a slight disclaimer, I'm still learning makeup. It may not look that good. Keep your opinions to yourself. I'm learning. So be nice to me. Please. In this video, it was like my first time doing eyeshadow. So please be nice to me. So yeah. Also, brief little trigger warning of suicide because, not suicide, but like a suicide attempt. So a brief trigger warning on that, because I will be mentioning that just because of, if you watch the first video on this series, you would know that there is a suicide attempt, and we're going to be touching on that in this video a couple times. So, just to let you know that is there. So, if you don't want to hear that, please click away, because I don't want to hurt anyone, because this is just supposed to be a little place on the internet where we talk about really stupid movies. So, or good movies, because like, hopefully we'll be doing Elf soon. That's a good movie. So yeah, okay. Let's talk about the comparisons. To start off, we're doing Sabrina 1954. The first difference that I noticed that I really like was that, it explains, like, how Linus and, like, the time, or not even Linus, it just explains the timeline better. Like, it explains the timeline of, like, Linus's thoughts, and then it also explains, like, the timeline of, like, Sabrina and her in Paris, because, like, in the first movie, it says, like, it's a little bit all over the place in the sense of, like, it has it where, like, or not all over the place, but, like, you don't get all the information of, like, she's in Paris cooking, and this guy's like, hey, we're friends now. And then it, like, goes back to the States, and then it goes back to Paris, and, like, she has her hair cut off, and it's like, it's been 2 years. And we're like, okay, cool. I like that they gave that time span, because then it, like, makes more sense to me. And it can, like, I can envision things better. But with the second movie, which is the 95 version, that one I did not like, because it was like, it had it where like, it was just like all over the place in the sense of, like, you didn't know how much time had passed. You didn't know if it was like 2 weeks or 2 years or 2 months or 3 years or 4 years. You just kind of see her, like, evolving. And I like that you see her evolving, but I feel like they needed both, not just one or the other. So, yeah. Next is, I like that they made the stakes higher with the party scene. So, like, both movies had the party scene, because it's a major part of the plot. But, I like that they had it where, Elizabeth, was, like, at the party. Because then it would make it, like, the stakes are higher, like I said, because, like, then it's like, oh no, David's being a douchebag and he's trying to dance with Sabrina while his fiance's there at the party. And so like then it makes it so like the stakes are higher, because like you're like, oh no, is Elizabeth gonna catch him? So I'm like, I like that. I like having that tension. That the second movie didn't have at all. They were like, oh, she's at like a conference in LA, like, yeah. Where like I feel like it's kind of a cop out. Like the original plot to it was like kind of good with that part, because I really like having Elizabeth there, because then you were like, oh no, is she gonna catch him? Ah. So yeah. I like that Sabrina was a lot more like fun and loving and playful of a character. Cause like in the second movie, Sabrina as a character is just so gosh darn serious. And I'm like, have fun with life. And like I feel like the first movie does very well with that, cause like Sabrina is a very fun loving person in this one, and it's like she has like a lot of funny little scenes and I like that. And I like that like she was a very happy person, it seemed like, in the film, even though she had her thing of like being obsessed with David, but like I like that she was more fun loving. Next is, I like that we saw David a lot more, because honestly I kind of forgot he existed in the second movie. Like I thought it was just a random love story about like two people like after a while, because I just forgot that David existed. Where like this movie, it feels like they show him a lot more, so you don't forget about him as much, and I like that, because like literally the whole basis of it is it's like a love triangle, and yeah, you need to remember one part of the triangle or it's just a line. And that's not juicy at all. I actually don't like the trope of love triangles that much, but yeah. But that's just kind of a me thing. A lot of people like the love triangle thing, but I'm not the biggest fan. Next is Sabrina getting a fucking dog. Whoa. She didn't get, David? Like, the dog wasn't named David as she got it. It was, name's David she too. Named the dog David. And I'm like, this is stupid. Why would you name your dog David? Don't name your dog David. You're obsessed with this man, and you're naming your dog after him. But then my mom, like me and my mom watched this movie, and we were talking about it. And she mentioned, like, a fact of, like, maybe it's, like, she's realized that David's a dog, and named the dog David because he's a dog. Because, like, he's kind of gross. But then, like, the other parts of the movie don't really show that, so I'm not fully sure. I just know I don't like it. Don't name a dog after the person you have a crush on. It's freaking creepy. Next is, I like how they incorporated Audrey Hepburn's talents. Like, she was a dancer, and she can sing. So, like, they had a little scene of her waiting for David at the party. Like, she was dancing around the tennis court net thing while waiting for him, and I like that because, like, it just shows how good of a like, a little bit of her talent. And then, too, I like that they showed, like, her singing. Like, she had, they had her singing, like, Love You and Rose and, like, Up in the song. Which I really liked the song. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked it. So yeah, I like that part.
Et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur.
Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
I like that the film leads into the comedy side more, because I like that, like, you have it where the film doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's very, like, comical. Like, there's a lot of scenes that you laugh at, especially if you're someone from the 50s. Because, like, to us, it's not as funny now, but, like, to people nowadays, but, like, even some of the little jokes they did got me to chuckle. So, yeah. Now, in some parts, I feel like they lead into the comedy aspect a little too much, but it also could just be the time period whole thing of, like, how they had it where Sabrina did a suicide attempt, and to me, they went into a comedy aspect about that, where I don't know if it's necessarily the right thing to be comical, or make a suicide attempt comical in that situation, or if it's really appropriate. But again, it's the 50s, it's a more taboo subject, so they were trying to, like, maybe make it more digestible, maybe, but it didn't feel right. And I didn't like that they did that, but they did. But, yeah. I still like that they had the comedy aspect more in this movie, because in the other movie, it's just not that funny. Like, they didn't have that many funny moments, and it just, like, it led into more of the not even rom-com, it just led in more to, like, a drama, romantic drama, where this one's more of a rom-com, if that makes any sense. It's like the same story and the same plot, but it's like they have two different genres. So, like, yeah, I like that this one's more comedy, because it's just more lighthearted that way. Now let's talk about the, like, differences in Sabrina that I noticed, or Sabrina 1995 that I noticed. The first one is how they changed the dog, from, like, Sabrina brought back a dog from Paris named David, to, Elizabeth gave this dog to the Larrabee family's mother for, like, a birthday present. I don't know why, but I like that little change. It's really not that important, but I kind of liked it.
What's that?
A dog.
Why?
That's Elizabeth's gift to Mother. She feels guilty about missing the party. She's stuck at some UCLA seminar.
The next one, like, the next difference that I really liked, was the ending where Linus, like, confesses his love to Sabrina. Now, that is how you end a movie like this. Like, the first movie, the ending fucking sucked. It was so bad. Like, no, you don't just hug, like, they, like, he showed emotion. He showed that he loved her, and that's how you do it. You don't just, like, hug, and that's it, you know? And I know, the video I just put, the little clip I put in doesn't, like, show what I'm talking about justice that well. If you hear, like, a clanking, it's my water bottle, I'm sorry. Anyway, the video I just put in doesn't do what I'm talking about justice, but the reason being is because I'm fighting with copyright, and you know how that is if you make videos. The next difference I want to talk about is, the fact that they changed the suicide attempt, that came across as very insensitive and whatnot, to a love confession. That is one thing that is kind of comical in this movie. But I do really like that they changed it, because, again, the way that they portrayed a suicide attempt in the 50s is very just insensitive, and it's a topic that is very important, so I like that they did that change. The next thing is, yes, the 1954 version of Sabrina did have some scenes that looked aesthetically pleasing, but I really liked with the 1995 version. They really went into that, and I really, really like it. I think that some of the scenes were just so beautiful, like especially the Paris scenes. but like I loved it. It looked so pretty, and yeah, it was just something that I really, really enjoyed, and yeah, I appreciate that. Cause like I'm like, if you're not gonna make it a funny movie, at least make it cinematically beautiful, you know? The next difference that I noticed that I want to talk about is I like seeing the symbolism, or not the symbolism, but I like seeing the scene where like Sabrina goes and tells David that she's going to Paris, like near the end of the movie whenever Linus like tells her about his little stupid little plan. And then she tells him that, and then she goes to David and tells him, and I feel like that's like a symbolism for like the chapter of their story is closing and she's going to move on, and that she has moved on, and I like that. It's very subtle, but I like it. And I don't know if I'm right on that, but I feel like that's what the movie was going for, and I appreciate it, and I like it, and I like the subtleness. This kind of leads into my next point, but I also really enjoyed like the symbolism that we see in the beginning of her changing while she's in Paris and like learning herself and things like that. I just like seeing that. And I like when movies don't have to tell you, but like they are making it clear through their visuals. This is just another one of those things where it's like I see a comedic aspect and it like I'm taking it and I'm running with it, because that's what this movie is. There's not a lot of comedy, so when there is, I take it and run with it. But I really, really liked the little thing where like David and like Sabrina, like where David picks up Sabrina and he doesn't know who Sabrina is, and she's playing a game with him, kind of being like, haha, you don't know who I am, you think I'm attractive, but you who hasn't given me the time of day my entire life. And then when they finally get there, like Linus gives away that game, and I really, really liked that. It made me laugh, and I just appreciated it.
The party's at 9 o'clock. Will you come?
Do you really want me to?
Very much. If you'll tell me who you are.
Hello, Sabrina.
Sabrina?
Next is that I like that the writing actually gave Linus and Sabrina chemistry. Because, like, I know with the, 54 version, it didn't really feel like Sabrina and Linus had any chemistry. It was just, like, where you can tell that Linus and Sabrina actually kind of liked each other. And I like that. I like that they had chemistry. And then I like too that we got more of a glimpse into Sabrina and the Larrabee family in the past, because like they told more stories about what they were like as kids, like whenever I think it was like they were like roller skating or something, and David kissed Sabrina when they were younger and things like that, or like how Linus was the first ever living heart donor, like things like that. I like those parts of getting to know the characters better. And the final difference that I wanted to talk about when it comes to these two movies was the fact that they made Sabrina a boss ass bitch. Like, I love that they did that, because like in the 50s, I understand why they made Sabrina the way she was. It's time and yada yada yada. But I like that they changed it with the time, and they made it that she had a voice for herself and she had beliefs and yada yada yada. But then also, like with her costuming, they always put her in like these nice suits and like dress suits things, and like or like the scene I'm about to show you where she she has the guts to like slap Linus in the face. I love it, and it made me very, very happy. But I like things like that, and I like that they changed it with the times, and that like she was kind of a boss-ass bitch. Now let's talk about the similarities that I noticed that I want to talk about. The first one is that I like that they use some of the, like, some similar monologue, because, like, in the very opening scene, I swear I didn't, like, fully fact check this, so I'm letting everyone know. But, like, to the naked ear, those monologues almost sounded exactly similar. And I tried to, like, figure it out, but my brain couldn't connect the dots. But I swear they're the same. And I like that they use, like, similar wording, at least, to give off that, hey, this is the same movie, kind of, but not, but it is. It's not. That's what I like, that they showed, like, hey, this is an adaptation through the monologue while still keeping to its roots a little bit. I also like that they kept with the British roots. I don't know why. Like, it's not that important, but I like that they kept Sabrina British and her family British. I do like that. It's interesting. And this one, this similarity I noticed, which I've mentioned, like, several times, but I like that they took the story and had the same concept for a story of girl obsessed with boy, goes to Paris, comes back, kind of still obsessed with boy, falls in love with boy's brother, woohoo, pretty much, that's the gist of it. But I like that they did that, but, like, aged it with the time, with things like making it so it's not where they didn't have the suicide attempt and things like that. I like that they changed it. So, yeah, that's good. I like that they changed it. But, like, we're able to still keep it the same. I also like that both cast had some gems. Like, they had, like, pretty good cast. Like, Sabrina 1954 had, like, big names like Audrey Hepburn, where, with the 95 version, they had people like Harrison Ford, and they changed it a lot. I like that. But I also like that they were, like, that, like, they, like, had some really good gems in there, and, like, yeah, it's probably not that important, but I like it. The next, similarity I noticed that I did not like, actually, was, the fact that they were romanticizing, like, stalking. Like, I mentioned this in both of my videos on each of these movies, and then I've probably mentioned it through this video already too. But I don't like that they're romanticizing stalking. It's kind of creepy. And, like, some people may be like, oh, it's not stalking, it's romantic. It's stalking. It's weird. Like, she literally, in the first one, is hiding in a tree. Both of them, actually. She's hiding in a tree watching this guy. If that's not stalking behavior, I don't know what is. And then, like, literally, she, in the 54 version, she's following behind him. And then the 95 version, she's just, like, sitting in her room, staring at his window, waiting for him. Like, it's creepy. Like, can we agree on that? Like, that is stalking behavior. The next one, the next similarity that I found that I want to talk about is that I like that they were able to get the glass scene to look so similar. Like, I'm putting up a comparison of the two, but they look so gosh darn similar, and I like it. The next similarity is that I really liked how they used La Vie en Rose, and how it, like, represented the, like, beauty of Paris, and I feel like it, like, represented that, like, Sabrina always has a part of Paris with her, and I like they used the song a lot in both movies, so, yeah. And, too, the song's just beautiful, so, like, yeah, I have to mention that. I do really, really like this song. It's a very beautiful song, so, yeah, I like that they kept that. The next similarity that I want to mention is that both sets are absolutely gorgeous. I thought that they were both just really, really pretty. and I really, really like them, and yeah, I just, yeah. I thought they did a really good job on picking the sets, and both of the sets look very similar, of like the, what you imagine a rich family house, like that rich of a family house to look like. I like that, and I think the houses and the sets were just beautiful. The next similarity that I noticed that I want to mention is I like that they had banter between David and Sabrina, and they kept that, because I feel like it just works with them. It works for that particular relationship in the film, and like especially the car banter. I love it, I love it, I love it. It's great, it's wonderful, I like it. Picasso. But yeah, I did really like the banter between some of the characters. I know I mentioned mostly Sabrina and David, but I do like the banter that they have between a lot of the characters, like the banter between Sabrina and Linus in the second movie and things like that. I do like that. I do like the banter. I like whenever they add banter and add like that type of deal, because most people have banter and like whatnot. Now for the final similarity I noticed that I really enjoyed was that they both gave Sabrina like a memorable, iconic line, because I don't know if anyone else does this, but I do this. I remember like one line that each character says in a movie, or like that the more important characters say in a movie, and like every time I think of Sabrina in either film, I think of these lines, and I love them, and I feel like they're so good, and I feel like they need more representation, or just people to see them more, because they're so good, and I love them for some reason. They make my little brain produce a lot of serotonin.
Still reaching for the moon.
No, Father. The moon's reaching for me.
I'll drive you home.
I'm flying home.
Like, those were the lines, and they're just so good. Like, I love them so much, and like, that is what I like, the energy. I like that whenever they say things, like the people say normal whatever things, and I like how they had a response so well, and it was such a fitting response, and I loved it, and it made my little brain so happy. But yeah. Okay, so that was the end of our long-awaited video of the Sabrina comparison. Sorry it's so late. This is what you signed up for when you subscribe to me. I try my best, but hey, at least we're getting it out. Be sure to follow my socials. I have Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Twitter, you hear my first ever reaction immediately to the movie that we may be talking about later. And usually a rating, like initial watch, because these videos usually come out after watching it about 4 or 5 times, and yeah, and usually by the time I watch this video, by the time I'm filming the video, I'm sick of the movie, which, it's fine. I try to write the script at least on watch 2, so then you get a more genuine thing, but whatever. So, you can probably tell that I'm sick of this movie, but anyway, I like it. It's just, yeah, don't watch it 5 times in a row. Yeah, but anyway, on Twitter, you get to hear my initial 100% reaction. Instagram, I post weird photos of me, post random things I'm doing with my life, just the normal jazz that you do on Instagram. I also do polls, so if you're curious, if like you want to be a part of something, I sometimes do those. And my TikTok, I do DIY stuff sometimes, but I don't post on there very much, but I'm trying to post on everything more frequently, so maybe keep an eye out for that. But other than that, that is it for me. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.